So now that that's done, the last thing we need to do as far as animation is we need to set our animation intensities and our play states. And you'll notice one of our placeholder text events down here at the bottom that came with the template says idle real time, and essentially what that means is it's idle, which means that the drummer is not going to be playing, he's not engaged with his drum kit. But the fact that it says real time also indicates that he's also disengaged from our beat track, which means he'll be kind of moving around and shifting his weight and just sort of, you know, in a waiting state, but he also will sort of be in a state where it's like he's not hearing the music even, which is good for before the song starts and after it ends. And so then when we actually want him to start playing his drum kit, we would come right up here to the beginning of the part, and you can either start right on the beat, or I have a tendency to like to do it just right before that, so he has time to kind of get his sticks up and into position before he's meant to hit that first beat. So I'll just double click down here in the text event area where I want to put an event, and I'll select from one of three play states. Play is basically his normal playing state, where he's playing his drum kit at a normal level of intensity. And then if there's a really quiet part of the song, I would choose mellow, and a really intense part of the song, then I could up it to intense. I will caution you in the use of intense. The animations that you'll see on the different avatars will kind of vary depending on a few different factors. And in general, intense tends to be really intense depending on which animation you end up getting. And I try to use it really sparingly just because it can look a little awkward if you want to try to set him to intense and just leave him there for like a whole section of the song. Not really a good idea. So ordinarily I would be picking play for the beginning of the song here. However, I did some testing with this song earlier, and what I noticed is that because of the super high beats per minute coupled with the shorter 3/4 time measures, even in a mellow state, he's really rocking out. And so this is basically the calmest we can get him to be, and especially the beginning of the song here, it's not really a super charged part of the song. When we get to the end there where he's going off on the toms, that's probably where I would then, on a regular song, I would up it to intense, but on this song, I'll up it to the normal play state at that stage. So I'm going to set him to mellow here at the beginning, and the other thing that we could do is in between there where there's that intro sequence where it's just Clara playing on her acoustic, we can go ahead and engage him to the beat track so that he's moving in time to the music, he's just not playing his drum kit yet. So from the time she comes in here, I'll just have him be in his idle state, so he'll be kind of moving along to the beat but not trying to play the drums. So we get up to measure 11 and then he'll start playing. And then what I do is I just scan through the song and look for sections where the drums drop out. So like here, for example, and if it lasts for any period of time, I'll typically want to put him into an idle state so that he doesn't look like he's trying to play the drums and has nothing to play. He'll back off from the kit, but he'll still be moving in time to the music if I just go to that idle state. The problem is when it's only about a measure's worth, like this space in here, and the song is moving along at such a good clip, if I switch him to an idle state and then back into a play state, that can look a little awkward because it's almost like there's not enough time for that transition to happen normally. So I'll just leave him engaged for this whole time. There's a break that's a little longer, but then down here we've got a full 2 measures. So let's take a look at that. So what I might do is have him to an idle state here. It can also look a little awkward if you have them sort of robotically snap into an idle state right as they're hitting that beat. And if you get it too close, it can even sort of truncate the animation so that you won't even see him hit that crash cymbal properly. So I usually like to give it a quick second before I move him into a different state. And then I'll bring him back in right here. So there's a nice big long break where you definitely want to go to idle. So sometimes these text events will pop right on where you happen to have the playhead, but they don't always do that, which is a little frustrating. So you just kind of want to keep an eye on it, and if they don't, just scoot them over where you intended for them to be. So here's where he goes into playing the toms, and it might look natural to go up to the next level of intensity, so I'll just pop him up to the play state here, which is just one notch up from mellow. And then he's probably going to just stay in that state until the end of the song. And then I'll go back to idle. And then because she's really winding down in that outro there, it's going to look a little strange if he's continuing to kind of bob his head at, 175 beats a minute while she's playing that really soft outro. So about a measure later, after I go to idle, I'll go ahead and go to idle real time, and then he'll disengage from the beat track and just sort of be in his own little world while she's doing that part. And in all likelihood, we won't even have the camera trained on him at that point. We'll probably switch to a camera angle that's focusing on the vocalist, or the vocalist and the guitarist together. But if you happen to catch a group shot where he's in the background or something, you want them to be in an appropriate play state. And that's it. So now our drummer is animated, and he'll start to behave like you saw him in that little preview clip at the top of the drum episodes here. And now we're going to go through and start doing the same thing for the other instruments. So thanks for tuning in. Be sure to watch the next episode, and we'll see you later.